Now is the time to call to order the Tuesday, February 18th Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting at 5:01. Can I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Guzman.
Present.
Alderman Donnerworth. Present. Alderman Hayes.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present. We have a quorum. Can I get a first and a second to approve the minutes from the January 21st Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting?
So
First.
moved. Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Are there any questions to this motion? Okay. Roll call or voice votes? Do I forget?
Just doing the minutes?
Yes.
You can do a voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item D, public comments. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the committee about anything on the agenda? Going once, going twice? Okay, we'll move on. New business, item A, a resolution, can I get a first and a second for a resolution of the City of Waukegan reallocating 2025 volume cap to the Village of Buffalo Grove, Illinois?
Motion. Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Are there any questions to this motion? Alderman Guzman?
Yes, what is it?
Would you like to explain the volume cap, or you want me to? So, every year, the city is allocated a certain amount of borrowing that it can do in participation with the state. And the city has chosen not to use that borrowing power this year, and what it can basically do is it can offer that borrowing capacity to basically to an administrator of a pool. Is that the best way? And so we're not using this bonding. We're not going into debt. We don't need to at this time. So it's being offered basically to a municipal pool, to a municipality that may need it, although it probably will not be used. And this is just a formality that we have to do every year if we're not making use of this capacity.
But why Buffalo Grove? They seem like they have money. Why not somewhere needy?
So Buffalo Grove simply hosts the pool. They don't actually, they're basically just the administrator. They don't actually use it.
Okay, but I want to make sure that we don't give it to Buffalo Grove. If we're not going to use it, let a needy community use it.
That's not how that works.
Okay.
It's simply, this is just this is a pool that was created, Lake County Partnership for Economic Development, and it is the Village of Buffalo Grove. They just administer it and they offer it. If any other municipality needs it, Buffalo Grove doesn't make use of this either. So.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Can I ask, Stu, is this just, like, because our fiscal year, we're in fiscal year 25 right now, right? No, I think we're in fiscal year 25.
It technically is fiscal year. It starts in 24, but the way our calendar reads it is actually fiscal year 25, and I get that wrong all the time.
Okay, so this volume cap is for the current fiscal year or the coming fiscal year? Okay, but this won't preclude us from doing borrowing if we need to do borrowing, just this particular type of borrowing?
This doesn't preclude us from borrowing at all.
Okay, just want to make sure we understand that.
In
Okay,
all the years I've been here, we've never had anyone come and make an application to use these funds. And rather than let it go to waste, otherwise no one would have access to it, we put it into a larger pool that's administered by Buffalo Grove. And if anyone has a large project, they would simply apply through Lake County Partners through Buffalo Grove, and they can get it funded. You can only use it for multifamily housing or for manufacturing. It used to be industrial revenue bonds. Now they call them private activity bonds. Same thing.
okay, thank you very much. Can I have a roll call, please? Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Alderman Felix?
It's just for 1 year. Is that just for the fiscal year?
Just for this year. But it comes up every year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. So on to item B. Can I get a first and a second on a resolution approving and authorizing the city's local share contribution for the U.S. Department of Transportation better utilizing investments to leverage development, a build grant program for the Illinois Route 137 Sheridan Road Corridor, Waukegan Lakefront Corridor, Rail Corridor Realignment, and Intermodal Station Project.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. The City of Waukegan and City of North Chicago submitted an application to the U.S. Department of Transportation's Better Utilizing Investments to Leverage Development Grant, Build Grant, to conduct preliminary engineering studies on the Illinois 137 Sheridan Road Corridor, the AMSTUDS. The cities applied for 100% federal funding, though are committing to contributing a local match if required. The cities will split the 20% match and each contribute $1,350,000 to the project. The goal of this project is to transform the AMSTUDS to a right-sized multimodal road that is safe and accessible to all. Alderman Guzman?
I thought the whole master plan and the talks for the AMSAT was to get rid of it since it's no longer going to be a North Shore, Lake Shore Drive kind of aspect of a road.
No, that's not the plan. I don't think anybody's ever talked about getting rid of it.
I thought it was supposed to be turned over to the city for some reason or another.
Does Noel, did you, Jesus? Oh.
Good afternoon, Council. So we did talk to IDOT during our planning phase because we do have a letter of recommendations from the state. They were clearly that they're not going back on their decision to not have a type expressway along the lake shore here in Waukegan. However, they do support this type of road diet. This meeting was held with the IDOT's representative in 2022, when we first applied to the RACE grant. They had a lot more funding. With the change in administration, with federal government, it used to be the RACE application, now it's called the BUILD. We have less funds, but we are hopeful to have some type of funding as we have received highly ranked application over the past 2 years.
So was there ever any intention of getting rid of the road?
There was discussion that that was a possibility, either removing it entirely, narrowing the entire width of it, or taking out part of it and narrowing the rest of it. And that's part of what something like this grant, the BUILD grant or the RAISE grant, would help us figure out. It would help us bring in engineers and do all that studying and see what's actually feasible to manage the amount of traffic that the road handles, and help us make educated choices for moving forward.
Yeah, because even one time I heard they're going to eliminate the AMSTUDS from North Chicago to Grand and just keep the Grand entrance so they won't go through the Sheridan Road historical downtown.
That was one of the options that came up, also removing just the stretch in Waukegan south of Grand up to South Genesee. That was another alternative that was brought up in our public meetings for the master plan and the harbors plan too.
Thank you. So this will help basically make a decision on what we're going to do with the road or not. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. On to item C. Can I get a first and a second for a resolution approving an agreement with Paramedic Billing Services Incorporated for fire and ambulance billing services?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. The Waukegan Fire Department desires to change our medical billing company. We currently use EMS-MC and are no longer satisfied with the level of support or performance. We are seeking approval to contract with Paramedic Billing Services. The new contract would be effective May 1st, 2025. Any fees associated with that service would be funded under GL Code 100-302-024479. Any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye. Motion passes, thank you. On to item D. Can I get a first and a second for a resolution approving a settlement and release of all claims for Police Department Employee Compensation Claim Number 240411W023 for an amount not to exceed $54,523.08?
First.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Are there any questions to this motion?
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Good job, Don. Okay, on to reports and communications. Are there any questions about any of the reports that have been shared? The water, the casino, stabilization? Alderman Guzman.
I know I say this every single time, the push tax.
So we have a major hearing that has been pushed back until May on a number of these collections. And then we're also waiting for a ruling from the Second Circuit Appellate Court in our ongoing litigation. We feel that that will help us. Unfortunately, the Second Circuit is taking their time in issuing that, that opinion. The good news is that they actually accepted our brief and did not want oral argument, which we think will actually speak well for us because we want it at trial court. So I will keep you updated as as things occur.
Sounds great, thank you.
Any other questions? I'd just like to highlight the budget to actual report. We're currently at 66.67% of the year. Our revenues are at 80%. And our expenses are at 60%. So we continue to really hold the line on our budget, and I'm grateful to the administration, the staff, everyone who makes that happen. It looks like we are going to end the year again in very good shape. So thank you to everyone who makes that happen. Any other items? Yeah, Alderman Guzman?
Actually, what I heard was that we're going to end up 20% under budget. So are we good on that?
Well, we're currently 20% under budget, but we
I think,
still
I thought
have,
it was 40% now, but we'll end up at 20% towards the end of the fiscal year. Am I correct on that, or was I fed something not incorrect?
Don, did you want to answer that, or?
There's still some major months to go where we'll have some expenditures prior to the end of the year. But right now, the general fund revenues exceed expenditures by $7 million. We expect to hold that course to the end of the year in the 4 to 5 range.
So for those who don't remember May's budget, everybody was complaining about the $5 or $7 million that supposedly was over budget or under budget. There we go. We'll end up with the same amount. The $5 million that you guys were complaining about, we should be okay. Thank you.
Well, and the $7 million you're referring to was money that was left over from the year prior, and it made it look like there was a discrepancy in the budget, but it was like you saved money from one year and spent it in the next. So the fact that this keeps getting repeated, that there was a $7 million deficit, is totally false.
And that was my whole point, Alderman Florian, that the
Thank
money
you.
is
For once, we
there.
agree on something.
I think we agreed more than once, Alderman Florian, but
Anything else that needs to be brought before this committee? Okay, can I get a first and a second to adjourn the meeting?
First.
Second.
At 5:16. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll see you in 4 minutes for Public Works.